I've always loved short stories and little sayings because they always spring to mind so easily when you need them, when faced with a certain situation, or as a way of just explaining to people why I carried out a particular course of action. In this video I'm going to incorporate 3 of them because basically they can be tied together, and for the purposes of this video I will tie them together. Basically because this concerns a lot of my philosophy regarding the workplace. The first little saying is one by then General Eisenhower, subsequently President, and he said, "The art of getting someone to do something is to get them to do it because they like doing it." No need to give them great explanations or even expend time on motivating them, because once you know what people like doing, they'll do it, they'll throw all their energy into it, and they'll leave work with a much greater sense of accomplishment, because then the workplace becomes an extension of their personality. Mark Twain worked it into one of his stories where I believe it was Huckleberry Finn had to paint a fence. Well, he ended up convincing his friends what great fun it was to paint a fence, and in this case he had them doing all the work for him. The second little story actually has the punchline of, well, make the footpaths where the men walk. Now this all came about because there was a new military base, nice sidewalks, beautiful lawns, but the general was just being driven crazy by the fact that the men were walking across these lawns and destroying the beautiful green grass that had been laid out. He wasn't quite sure what to do. Punishment didn't seem to work, so he called in an expert to advise him on the matter. And the expert noticed that the reason the men were walking across the grass was because they wanted the shortest distance between 2 points, something that wasn't taken into account when laying out the footpaths. Hence the saying of, put the footpaths where the men walk. Something I always bear in mind when allocating meal breaks, because I know there's certain people who like to eat early and certain people who like to eat late. Doesn't always work when you consider a particular person's skills that they're carrying out in the workplace, but whenever possible, I always reckon it makes much more sense for those who like to eat early, give them their break first, and those who like to eat last, then let them join the end of the line. That way everyone's happy and the workplace continues to be fully staffed. The other and concluding little story for the workplace concerns a factory where a new manager had just been installed, and of course he had to sit down, discuss issues with various heads of departments so that he knew who was who and what was going on, so that he could establish the new policies. And without fail, all of these heads of departments told him they had to fire the cleaner. They all told him what a lousy job this person did. He also carried out a few other inquiries, find out a bit about the background of this person. And considering the background of the person, he came to the conclusion that yes, it would be quite easy to fire him and replace him. But he also realized this person was a good person at heart. So the question was how to motivate him. Well, on his second day at work, he made it a point to bump into the cleaner and remarked to him, I think he did a really good job of cleaning the restrooms. I did, however, notice just a little bit of dirt in the corridor. Can you take care of that? Well, he noticed the next day the restrooms were clean, corridors were looking better. So again, he made it a point to bump into him and remarked that he really liked what he was doing, but could he just make sure that all the trash cans were being emptied at night? Well, sure enough, the next day, the trash cans were all emptied. Now this is all part of human nature, because the previous manager had complained about everything. So the man figured, if they're going to complain about what I do, why should I bother to do anything good? Whereas when he was paid compliments, he knew there was a reason for working good. I always think of that story when, in one particular job, there was a manager, and every day he would launch into a long tirade of why wasn't this straightened, why wasn't this organised, why wasn't this put in its place. Well, we all know that no one is perfect, but of course the immediate gut reaction is, well, why should I bother when he's going to complain anyway? I'll just give him something to complain about. So I say to anyone who's in a management position, always start off by complimenting someone, even if you have to fake it. Then of course there's various issues that do need to be addressed, but address them quietly, and in the end you probably will achieve your results. Management isn't just about wielding a big stick. It's about understanding human nature, seeing what people want to do, and then seeing how you can incorporate this into your big scheme of things. You don't have to be a graduate of a course in psychology to understand human nature, but it is important to have that basic understanding.